Howdy. Yeah, trying out a new background. We'll talk about him in a minute. But yeah, I'm just here to start a new weekly reading vlog. I'm sorry if there's a lot of noise happening. I have my front door open because it's super nice outside right now, but since it's natural lighting, the lighting's going in and out. And there might be like noises from outside coming in. But yeah, so I haven't filmed a reading vlog, I think in a couple weeks. The world is hard right now. Everything is great in my personal life, but just there's been a lot of tragedy happening around here. I live in Oklahoma. There's been a couple bills that passed recently that were really hard. My eyes are watering. I'm not going to cry in this video. But yeah, basically I had a week where I was basically just grieving a little bit. And yeah, I think a lot of the world is right now, especially America, there's just a lot of hard things happening right now. And I know that a lot of people come to YouTube for like a bit of escapism. And so yeah, I didn't want to film because yeah, everything just felt heavy and I wanted to have like a little safe space that people can come and congregate. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on it. Also, women are powerful. Trans kids are loved. And if you're somebody that disagrees with that, click out of my video. I'm trying to get out of the habit of feeling like I can only film vlogs if they are themed, but I think I'm going to try and do a theme for this week, but I don't really know. I'm going to try and just listen to what my brain and heart wants in terms of books. But yeah, so I think for this week, I'm going to try and primarily read alien romance. Yeah, okay, so first off, this past week, I DNF'd a book. I got Kindle Unlimited recently, and it's completely changed me. I love it so much. I'm on like a really big no-buy for everything right now, and there's so much good stuff on Kindle Unlimited. I don't know, it's really awesome. And so I started getting into a reading slump, and then this guy happened. Yesterday was Friday, and my partner texted me and he was like, so I have a crocodile in my mail truck. My partner's just like a carrier for the mail carrier for the post office. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he sends me this photo of this freaking, he's like a paper mache crocodile with like all these cool like fake plants. And he has eyes and he's huge. And there's also this really adorable fake cake in his mouth. And yeah, so basically my partner, he has a bunch of like regulars on his route, obviously, because he just like works in the same neighborhoods. And so he has like a lot of customers that he talks to and he's like friendly with them, you know. And there's this one lady that's really nice and she's given us, I think, like outdoor plants and stuff in the past. And I guess like she was cleaning out her house and this was just sitting outside. And it was sitting outside for like a week. And my partner was so confused. And he was like, what are you doing with that crocodile? And she's like, do you want him? And she told Avery, she's like, if you take him, you have to take the fake cake and you should keep it in his mouth. Yeah, I love him. My partner couldn't just leave him and we had no idea what to do with him because he's so huge. And then I was like, let's just throw him in the fireplace. But yeah, so I got inspired by him. His name is Bartholomew now. He goes by Bart. And he sits with his new friend and roommate Bloody Bones, our red skeleton man that also lives in the fireplace. And I don't know, I was just staring at him and I was like, you know, I recently did a monster box subscription unboxing and I kind of want to read an alien romance now. So last night I started I Married a Lizardman by Regine Abel. And I got to like 51% last night. And yeah, this is an alien romance. It's a part of a series called the Prime Mating Agency. And you don't have to read them in order, but they're basically just about like a different human getting paired up with like an alien person. And yeah, this book, I'm predicting this to be a 5-star already, and I'm halfway through. It is so cute and so interesting. So basically, this is like a sci-fi series, and it takes place in a galaxy or whatever where there's like hundreds of planets. There's all sorts of like alien species. For the most part, people get along, and there's like a galactic federation or whatever to make sure everybody's getting along. And a lot of people like marry outside of their race. Like, I guess it's pretty common. And so there's actually a ton of like dating agencies and like arranged marriage agencies, because since I guess the universe is so big and you're having trouble finding like a partner, you can just sign up and get paired up with somebody. And there's this agency called the Prime Mating Agency, and they're known for taking in people, like folks that have some sort of something about them that makes dating really hard for them. Maybe it's their appearance because they are, a specific type of alien, or maybe there's somebody that, doesn't come from wealth, or, it's just all these different circumstances. And the agency is known for taking on these people and having like a really, really high success rate with these couples. And so this story follows our heroine named Susan. She's from like a farming planet that's like a matriarchal society, and she is the third daughter in her family, which means that since she isn't like the firstborn or secondborn, she won't be able to inherit land. And land is really important for this planet because like it's a part of their culture. It's a farming culture, and like land is power and status. And so she's the third sister. She's basically considered useless. All she's ever wanted in life is to like feel wanted and needed by someone, and to be able to like farm and do what she really likes, because she likes, farming and taking care of plants and growing things. And so I can't remember, but basically it's like this thing in the society where like once you turn 25, it's like if you're not a first or second born daughter, you're basically considered useless. So she wants to leave this planet and, get paired up with somebody where for one, she can like move away from her home planet and have a better life. And then two, also just, actually find a nice match. And she gets paired up with a lizard man named Alex. I can't remember what they're actually called. I think they're called like Anturians. Yeah, they're called the Anturians, and they're like a race of lizard folk. And he signs up for the agency as well because of political reasons. Basically, on his planet, they're kind of like most of the people on there are like a tribal society, but his home planet is very beautiful, and the land there is really rich and fertile. So all of these like organizations are coming in, and they're trying to like, I guess, kind of forcefully insert themselves and remove the tribal people off of their land, because they're like, oh, I can make this into like a resort for people to come, like a tourist attraction, or let's open up a chain of hotels over here. And Alex is like the leader of his clan, and he's like, look, I like the technology, but I'm trying to secure my people's like culture and make sure that we, aren't ostracized, and like we're not being disrespected. Like this land is sacred to us. And so in his culture there was like a shaman type person, and they were basically like, there's a prophecy where he is going to marry somebody that's not from his home planet, and then that person will help protect their culture. And yeah, so Susan gets paired up with Alex because the prime mating agency, it's revealed that they also have kind of like ulterior motives that are like also a good thing. So like not only are they out to like really make sure that these people are a love match and that they'll like work out together, but they're also having another like agenda. And Susan is paired up with Alex because the agency is hoping that she will be able to convince Alex and his people to actually use their land for farming. That way they can build up an economy, and then that'll give them more power, which in turn they can just be like, no, screw you to all these organizations. We have our own economy. This is our planet, and we're going to like bring in more like wealth and resources to our own people. Yeah. Things don't go off to a great start. Alex and Susan, they're obviously very intimidated by each other's appearance. And when I say Alex is a lizard man, I mean he's like a lizard man. Like he is super tall, he has a tail, he's covered in scales, and he's like, the way they describe him is that he's like humanoid, but like his, you know, like his face is flattened, like he has like a flat nose. And Susan is also, you know, terrified because she's a human, and Alex is also weirded out because he's like, she looks like a plucked little bird. Her body is like not adapted to my environment. She's actually really fragile and can get hurt if I don't protect her. And yeah, the reason why I love this so far is because the communication in this is so good. It's so good. Like they immediately, whenever first upon meeting each other, they're like, you know, saying all these things like, oh, well, this isn't going to work out. But they're very open about it. They're very open about being like, hey, I don't understand this. I don't understand why your body looks this way. There's like a really cute thing where Alex is fascinated with how Susan blushes because, you know, her skin turns pink. And he's like, oh, whenever I blush, I turn blue, you know, because it's like his blood makes his scales blue. I don't know, it's so cute. And so it's like they're really communicating and trying to make it work. And they go through this like really interesting ceremony. And yeah, I don't know, it's just so cute. Their first sexual encounter was so sweet to read about because it's like, because of how their bodies are so different, they're having to have these really open and honest conversations about like, well, hey, this is like what humans like to feel. And you know, they're like, can I touch you here? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I don't know, it's so good. And I don't know if this is going to be like a reoccurring thing in this series, but Alex is one of my favorite type of heroes. He's kind of like a cinnamon roll alpha, you know, where it's like the really scary, tough looking guy. But then for the heroine, he's just like, oh, you know, I want to make you feel safe and like comfortable. And I love it so much. It's so good so far. And yeah, I'm only 50% of the way through. And I'm super, super enjoying it. And yeah, that's like my reading plans for the week is that I'm just going to read Alien Romance. Sorry, I really need to film my May reading wrap up, but I also really want to clean house because our house is so filthy. But I also want to do my nails today. So I don't know, today's probably going to be a little chaotic, but I definitely want to finish this tonight, and then I'm going to pick another Alien Romance. I guess I'll check back in with you guys later once I have more reading updates. The next morning. I got up pretty early at around 6:30 and I uploaded my, you know, monthly reading wrap up, and yeah, I've had a pretty productive morning. But I did finish reading I Married a Lizardman by Regine Abel. and I give it a 4.5 star. Yeah, I really loved this. I really loved Susan and Alex together as a couple. Alex is like the cinnamon roll, like alpha hero, and their entire relationship was just based on, you know, them communicating really well with one another because they really wanted their marriage to work. And yeah, because they were so like open and honest with one another, their marriage turned into like a genuine attraction, and it was just super good. I loved the steamy scenes in this book because of the way that Alex and Susan communicate, because since, you know, obviously they're different like species of humanoid creatures, their anatomy is a little bit different, so they're having to talk through everything and, you know, discuss what they may or may not like. I don't know, it was super sweet. I didn't give it a 5 star because there was a part in the book where, or a part in the novella where it got really heavy into like marketing and stuff, because obviously Susan is trying to help out their planet. And so she's able to acquire some land that Alex gives her, and she's able to like grow a bunch of like fruits and vegetables. And on their planet, there's this very specific berry that grows there that's like native to the planet, but it's like pretty rare to find in the wild. But Susan is able to grow it herself, and she's basically like selling this berry for like astronomical prices. But all the tourists and people that are like on the planet, you know, they're like, hell yeah, I'll pay that price, you know, I'll buy those berries for you. And so Susan's able to quickly show all the Anturians like, hey, your land is very fertile. I know you're like a hunter tribe people, but you really should like monopolize on it. But yeah, it got so heavy with all the marketing stuff at one point, and my lizard brain has trouble computing numbers. So the whole time I was just kind of like the meme of the lady that has the math equations floating around her head. That was me at one point during this book. But yeah, so like other than that, I like really enjoyed this. It was so sweet and cute. I can't wait to read more in this series. A part of me wants to just go ahead and jump into another one, but then another part of me wants to read Ensnared by Tiffany Roberts. Hold on just one second. So I recently did a monster romance book unboxing by Renegade Romance, and I got this special edition copy of Ensnared by Tiffany Roberts. I am going to read it on my Kindle though, just because it's a little bit easier for me to read compared to physical books. But yeah, I kind of want to hop into this. This cover is gorgeous, but I also like the original cover of the book too. I don't know, I'm undecided because I liked the other book that I read so much. So we'll have to see. Leia! My front door's open. Leia, say hi. No kissy. Say hi. Yeah, today's probably going to be a bit of a busy day for me. Me and my partner, we have to go run some errands, and then as you guys saw, I didn't... Sorry. Her arch nemesis are walking. Go to him. Yeah, me and my partner have to go run some errands, and as you guys saw, I didn't clean yesterday. I did some art stuff. I'll show you guys the finished product right here. But yeah, that was really nice. I've been really struggling to do art for the past couple months. But yeah, so today I have to run errands, I have to clean house, and I really need to make banana bread. Check back in with you guys later once I like finally decide what book to read, and yeah, see you guys soon. Hey, it's Wednesday. I'm so tired today. I just got back from walking my dog, and it was the first time in a couple days where it wasn't raining too hard. And I thought it wasn't that hot, but then I got home and I got overheated and I don't feel very good. But yeah, I have some reading updates. I finished Ensnared by Tiffany Roberts. I did read this on my Kindle. I think this might be my third 6-star of the year. I really want to read this book physically again. This is definitely probably going to be a reread for me. A part of me wished that I would have just read the physical copy because I never tab books, but there are so many good quotes in this book. This book is so swoony. Okay, so to very briefly describe what this book is about, this takes place on like an alien planet, and the first couple chapters are actually primarily told from Caton's perspective. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. And yeah, Caton is just a species of alien that lives on this planet. They're not spiders, but they resemble closely to what like spiders are, like to us, you know? And yeah, he lives in this society where there is like a queen spider. The female spiders are a lot bigger than the male spiders, which is saying something because the male ones are like 7 feet tall. They're huge. And yeah, it's like a matriarchal society. And the book starts off with Caton. He's pretty unhappy because I can't remember her name, but basically the queen of, you know, their kingdom, she is basically like a tyrant, and there's some like plot going on with how a lot of the, I keep forgetting what they're called. Sorry, it took me a while to find, but yeah, they're called Vricks. Basically the queen has been like making people in her kingdom like give her offerings and like hunt for meat and stuff. And it seems like she's kind of just like keeping all of these things to herself because there are, you know, Vricks communities that are starting to starve and they're struggling with food, even though she keeps like making everybody give her more stuff. And on top of that, the queen has also been trying to get Caton to be her mate, and Caton hates her. She's like a tyrant ruler and he doesn't want to be her mate. And so Caton, you know, he leaves and he goes back to, they call it the Tangle, but basically it's like the wilderness. And there's like, you know, groups of Vricks that live out there, but Caton chooses to live on his own pretty far away, and he's on a hunting trip and he falls into this like pit that all of the Vricks are scared of. There's like some world lore or something where they think that it's like haunted basically, and he falls there, and turns out that that pit is actually a crater that was caused by a fallen ship. And Caton, you know, he's looking around, he's really confused because he's seeing like the remains of something, but they're not Vricks, and the remains don't look like any other like animal that he has come across because he's a hunter. And he stumbles upon a room that looks different than the other rooms on this like dilapidated ship, and there is a pod that he accidentally opens up, and inside is Ivy. So yeah, Caton is completely enraptured by Ivy, and he takes her. And yeah, upon waking up, obviously Ivy is terrified. Ivy's a human, and she was a part of this ship as it was like a colony ship on its way to like this other planet where I guess maybe like other humans have migrated, and she was just basically a part of the ship that probably had, you know, thousands of humans on it that were in I forgot what the term's called. It's like a science term, but it's basically like your put into like a sleep state, or so that you can survive the 100 or 60 years or whatever that it takes for you to travel in space. And yeah, she was expecting to wake up on her new planet and be surrounded by like medical professionals helping her like acclimate or whatever. But obviously she wakes up and she is with this 7-foot tall, massive Spider-Man, and she's terrified. Yeah, and things go on from there. It's so good, you guys. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've stated it already at the beginning of this video, but I love cinnamon roll alphas. They're my favorite heroes. Caton's being added to the book boyfriend list. He is so protective. He, like, at first, it's like really funny to read, but it was like hard because I know like how frustrated Ivy was. He, at first, since he doesn't know that she's like intelligent and stuff, he almost thinks of her as like this weird pet. And so, but that quickly changes, and he just like, he's so like enraptured with her. He wants to like protect her and take care of her, and it's so good. I really liked Ivy as a heroine too. One of the triggers for this book is definitely sexual assault. It's like graphic but not graphic. Yeah, it's like we're not there with her graphic. She's basically having a memory of this happening to her. Her first sexual experience was really awful, and growing up, her like childhood wasn't that great, and her parents were just, they weren't the greatest people. And so even though she is like, you know, this frail human, she's just so determined to like show Caton that, you know, like, I'm actually strong. I want to like pull my weight. I want to be like important to you. And yeah, I don't know. And like the way that, again, I don't know if this is just like an alien romance thing, but like the communication in this book is just so good, because, you know, they have to communicate because of the way that they you know, who they are. They're completely different species, and they're having to work through like not only like their cultural differences, but like the differences between their bodies. There's also a language barrier, and so they're having to like slowly learn like words to communicate with one another. And yeah, it was just, it was so good. It's definitely like a slow burn, but the payoff is really nice. This is a trilogy, so there is a cliffhanger in this book, but it's not a cliffhanger between the hero and heroine. Like, they're fine, like their relationship is fine. It's just like plot point stuff. So like, if you're somebody where you need to like take a break in between reading series, it's like fine to stop there, I would think. But yeah, it was just, it's so good. It was so swoony. Parts of this were also just like really funny. Like, there was just so many funny moments in this. There's some action bits, because this also does sort of read like a survival story, since Katana's having to kind of like teach Ivy how to survive in the forest. And then him and Ivy are also trying to like adapt, because Ivy's body is like, you know, he's like this huge Spider-Man that has basically like built-in armor, and she is this soft, squishy, tiny human, like, you know. And yeah, so it was so well-rounded and good. And a part of me wants to pick up the second book too, but I also want to read more like alien romances like outside of this series, so I don't know what to read next again. What I can definitely say is that I am so excited I decided to pick up alien romances, because I'm having a good time so far. Like, I know on my Bookstagram, I gave I Married a Lizardman a 4.5 stars, but I honestly haven't been able to stop thinking about that book, so I think I'm bumping that up to 5-star. So far the 2 books that I have read have been a 5-star and a 6-star. I have been missing out this whole time. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I actually have a really bad headache because, like I said, I got really overheated, and I don't know if I'm going to pick up the second book after Ensnared or if I'm going to pick up another alien romance, but I'll just I'll check back in with you guys later. Hey, today is Saturday, so it is the last day of the vlog. Yeah, I didn't really check in very much again. I can't remember. I think earlier this week I was just really tired, so I kept forgetting to vlog. And then yesterday was Friday, so we actually went and hung out with some friends, so I didn't vlog that day either. But yeah, I finished my 3rd book this week. I can't remember if I had mentioned what I was going to read next. I don't think I did because I couldn't decide. But I read that Blue Alien book, Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. It's worth the hype. It's worth the hype. The book is worth the hype. I loved this, and honestly, I can't decide if this is a 5 or 6 star. Partly because I can't believe that I read another really good first book in a series or what, but this was so good. Oh my gosh. So the author does leave a note at the beginning of this book talking about how this book is actually pretty dark. There's some major trigger warnings in this. There is a pretty graphic rape that happens at the beginning of this book. It doesn't happen to our heroine, and it's not done by the hero or anything like that. It's just like she witnesses it happening to another woman, and so that was very hard for me to read about, so just be really mindful about that. There's also kidnapping, and it's a survival story, so there's some pretty like stressful situations that relate to that. So if those triggers are, you know, too hard for you, really be mindful of it. But apparently the rest of the books in this series, they're not nearly as dark, and I can understand why based on how this book ended. So basically this series is about these group of women, and this first book starts off where it's just told from this girl named Georgina's perspective, and it's just like any other normal workday for her, and she goes to bed, and when she wakes up she realizes that she is on a spaceship. So basically these like women have been abducted by aliens, and it's absolutely terrifying because these women, they wake up in these cages and they're heavily drugged, and they realize that they have this like tracker thing in their arm, and yeah, these girls are basically being taken somewhere to either probably be sold for whatever reason. And the reason why Georgina and then like these several other women are in cages is because they're basically like extras. There's other women that are on this, like, they call it like a cargo area of the ship, but these women are in like these tubes, or, you know, they're basically being simulated into like still being asleep. And so the women that are in the cages, they're considered extras, and so they're being, you know, brutalized by this awful group of aliens. And turns out the ship starts to have some issues, and one of the girls has this device in her ear that one of the aliens had given her, where it's basically a translator so that she can understand certain things, and they didn't give the rest of the women them, they just gave it to her, and she's able to tell based on like the intercom system and then the other aliens that are like the alien guards, that basically they're having some engine trouble, and in order to fly better they have to lighten the load. So the girls, you know, become worried. They're like, oh my god, they're gonna shoot us off into space. And yeah, that happens. They basically let go of the cargo. The girls fly into space and they land. And the majority of them survive, besides a couple girls and then one of the guards, because Georgina, oops, sorry, my tripod. Georgina was in the process of, oh God. Yeah, and they land on this planet and everybody's in pretty bad shape. You know, I think like 2 girls die, but then the other girls, everybody has some sort of like injury, like broken legs or whatever, except Georgina. She's injured, but she's not so injured to where, like, you know, she can like walk around pretty easier, like compared to the other girls. And since she was the one who had formulated a plan to try and steal a gun from one of the guards, they basically elect her as like the leader. And they're like, look, we're gonna die in here. It's freaking freezing. There's snow pulling into the broken ship or broken cargo pod, whatever. But since they're all breathing, they realize that, you know, there's oxygen, like they could probably survive, and that means that there might be other intelligent life forms on the planet. So Georgina is elected to basically go out and try to scope for help. And while scoping, she runs into some creepy critters, and then she accidentally falls into a trap, like a snare. But she passes out, obviously, because she's injured and exhausted. And when she wakes up, there is this massive 7-foot-tall blue alien man with horns. And although they're not able to communicate, some stuff happens. And that alien's name is... So the blue alien's name is Vectel. And yep, he has a tribe. He is the chief of his tribe. And they're just like a nice tribe of these, you know, barbarian blue aliens that are able to survive in this cold climate. Now, the reason why Vectel is so intrigued with Georgina is because Vectel possesses this thing called a cooey, which it's revealed, you know, later in the book what exactly the cooey is. And the cooey starts vibrating in his chest, and it basically is alerting him that Georgina is his mate. And so he's instantly filled with, you know, protectiveness and love and affection and sensual feelings for our heroine Georgina, even though she's weird looking. And he's like, why does she not look like me? She's going to get sick. And then Vectel decides, she is my mate, she is mine, I must get her a cooey so that she will live, and I vow to protect her at all cost. I'm telling y'all, I've only read 3 alien romances so far, but they all have cinnamon roll outfits. Yeah, so basically the rest of this book just follows Georgina and Vectel trying to communicate with one another, because there's like a really big language barrier. And so, you know, Georgina kind of has trouble like trying to convey to him like, hey, there's other girls like me and we're in really bad condition. We really need help. And yeah, this book at the beginning was very dark, but how this book ends, it's kind of perfect because it sets it up to where, like, we as readers now know that the rest of this book series is probably just going to be these girls adjusting to their new lives on this planet. And yeah, the book explains what a cooey is, and it was such, like, it's such a cool concept. Like, obviously, like, a lot of us will be reading these alien romances because they're romances, but the actual, like, science fiction aspect of this book was so cool. I thought that was such, like, a cool concept. And yeah, it was super good. I can't decide if I want to rate it a 5 or 6 star. The premise of this book is that Vectel's people, I forgot what they're called. I think they have like their own term for what their alien race is. There's only 4 women in their tribe because they're only able to reproduce with their mate. So this alien romance almost has like a fated mate trope, like shifter romances do, which I love. I love fated mates. And so all of these tribesmen, like all their lives, they're like, wow, I just really want to meet like what is basically my soulmate and, you know, build a family and whatnot. And so it just ends with like all these human girls and these like sweet alien men are like trying to be polite and not infringe on them because they're like, I don't want to scare them, but also what if she's my mate? It's really cute. Yeah, I immediately want to read the second book in this series. Like, I'm pretty sure that's going to be my second, like, or not my second, it's going to be my next read. It's the second book. But yeah, I loved it. Now I really, really want to buy those special edition covers for the Ice Planet Barbarian books. And yeah, but this whole series is on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, you know, you can just download it and read them. But yeah, guys, I discovered a new favorite book genre now. And I had so much fun. And honestly, you guys might only be seeing alien books for the rest of this month. I say that, but honestly, I'm a mood reader, so who knows. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be reading tons of alien romance in the future. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and leave me just any sort of space emoji. So it could be, you know, like an alien. I wonder, maybe there's like a rocket ship, or like the little galaxy looking GIF, or not GIF, whatever. Just leave me a space related emoji in the comments below. I really thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me. But yeah, I'm gonna go now. Bye-bye.